funding for New Mexico in Focus provided by the McCune Charitable Foundation and viewers like you.
This week on New Mexico in Focus, a new local documentary tackles the tough topic of childhood obesity.
It's important to start at this age because they start now making good habits, good choices.
Plus, inspiration from the experts on how to get our kids active and healthy. New Mexico in Focus starts now. Welcome to New Mexico in Focus. This week, we take a closer look at a problem that continues to impact our youngest residents. Let me ask you a question. Did you know 1 in 4 of New Mexico's kindergarten students are considered overweight or obese? Now, according to the health department, that jumps to 1 in 3 by the 3rd grade. And that unhealthy start can lead to all kinds of health problems later in life. Diseases like diabetes, heart disease, asthma, and depression, just to name a few. But a local filmmaker is hoping to turn the tables by arming families with a little bit of knowledge and a lot of great ideas and inspiration. Chris Schuler's latest documentary is called Big Healthy Life, and tonight we will show you the entire documentary and then follow up on some of the key points with experts on nutrition and exercise. Up first, an overview of the film and why the issue is so important to the overall health of the entire state.
Children who are obese become adolescents who are obese, become adults who are obese.
One in 4 of our kindergarten students are overweight or obese. By the time they're in 3rd grade, 34% are overweight or obese. You can see where we get to 65% of adults in New Mexico are overweight or obese.
We are increasingly seeing a number of young kids, 10 years or younger, with onset of type 2 diabetes. This is a disease that we never used to see in kids this young.
As one gets older, the frequency of diabetes, of heart disease, of all sorts of medical conditions increases in those who are obese.
If we continue on this trend, kids of today will not outlive their parents.
We've got much more of the new documentary, Big Healthy Life, still to come. But joining me in studio is the filmmaker himself, Mr. Chris Schuler. Chris, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, here's my first question. Why did you want to make this film in the first place?
Well, we've been working on it for, a year and a half about. And when you look at the numbers, the overall numbers are scary. When you get 1 in 4 kindergartners are overweight or obese, 1 in 3 3rd graders overweight and obese. I mean, that's a big problem. That's a big problem. So we wanted to look at how that manifests itself over time and what does that mean for our state. And when you look at, the healthcare system is in crisis. Everybody's talking about that. Well, what does that mean for us? In 13 years, this is amazing. In 13 years from now, by 2030, there will be over 500,000 New Mexicans with obesity-related heart disease. So like a quarter of our population is going to have obesity-related heart disease. Same thing with hypertension. Diabetes numbers are off the chart. What does that look like down the road? And as you look at that, we thought we had to address something about that. And then you got it, but how can you do that in a way that's going to be positive? And so we wanted to figure out ways, there are fixes, there are things. Very complex situation that we try to distill to, 35 minutes.
What makes New Mexico unique in terms of this battle against childhood obesity?
There are so many things that lead into obesity that I had no idea when we started. How poverty relates to obesity is a very complex spider web of issues that we have to address and we have to look at. Some of it's going to require money, some of it's going to require just some creative thinking. When you look at how obesity affects education in our state, I didn't know that the hippocampus, the thing that stores our memory, is affected by obesity in a way when kids are young. And you look at those young numbers, It affects the way they learn. So kids who are a little bit overweight or a little pudgy when they're young don't learn as well. That looks like the research. Nobody knew this stuff. So that affects all of us in a big sense, and particularly here in New Mexico.
One of the themes in the film is that families working together towards healthy goals is a key to their success, but what if there are issues within a family that are challenging?
Boy, that's the key question, isn't it? I mean, that's truly the key question. And families in New Mexico are seriously challenged. We know the poverty level is high here. We're down at the bottom of that number. And how does that relate to how they keep their kids healthy? Keeping their kids healthy needs to be a #1 priority, but they're going to need the support of the community. And that's what we're trying to show. All the community supports that may be available, that should be available, that could be available, that's what we're trying to point out.
You know, talking about health, especially with children, is traditionally very difficult. What did you find is the easiest way for a family to start that conversation about the importance of health?
You know, it's difficult. It's very difficult with kids because they're going to live forever, and their weight or their lack of exercise doesn't affect them immediately. I mean, listen, if I don't work out, you know this, if you don't work out, if we don't work out every week, you feel it. We feel it big time. Kids don't, because they're kids and their bodies are young and they're resilient and they bounce back. So it's a difficult conversation to have. I think the biggest thing we can do is model for them. If parents and their elder brothers and sisters and anyone who they deal with can model their behavior in terms of exercise, in terms of eating well, in terms of taking the time to do these things right, I think that's the best situation. It's going to be hard to make them understand unless you're modeling it.
Are there reasons to be optimistic?
I do. We found those programs, and you'll highlight some of them here, that are just incredible. And we have such gems of people working on these things that don't cost anything. I mean, you look at Running Medicine with Dr. Flegg, he's going to be in here talking. You look at some of those other things, the Youth Fit, the Family Challenge program. We've got some good things. We just need to expand them, and it doesn't take money.
It's time now to dive back into Chris's film, Big Healthy Life. In this next section, we learn much more about the keys to nutrition and how young people can learn to eat healthy from their earliest days.